Well, it is a hot July day and we are in the middle of our kohlrabi harvest. Well, I'm standing in the shade because it's hot and a hot July day, and we've actually had a lot of rain lately, and that's something we're going to talk about here as part of our kohlrabi harvest. So kohlrabi is a pretty new vegetable to us. We really only started growing it in 2021, so super new, but we are fairly impressed with it so far, and from a taste perspective it's really good. Now this year we are growing the white Vienna Kohlrabi. Last year we grew the purple Vienna Kohlrabi, but we found it didn't grow as well, or didn't grow as big, so we're going with the white variety. But I'm going to take you over to the patch and A, show you how they look, and B, discuss a few things about our harvest.
So we're standing amongst our row of our first round of kohlrabi, and as you can see, there was a bit of a mistake in the greenhouse because we're not the best at labeling things, and half the row ended up cabbage, which is not doing fantabulous, but we might pull that for feed anyways. But on the second half here, we're still working away. As you can see, every second plant almost is cabbage. But we do have a few really nice kohlrabi in here. I don't know if you can...
The smooth leaves are the kohlrabi
Yeah, the
plants.
lighter green there. But you can see we still got some really nice ones yet to come out, which we're taking everything out today because we've realized with this rain, things are splitting and we may have let them sit a little bit too long. But as Chris mentioned, I was going to just also clarify, last year we did grow both types of kohlrabi, the purple and the white, and made the decision to go with just the white. So we're going to pull it out. We're leaving the cabbage at the moment, but as you can see,
that's actually a pretty nice one.
We should have picked them all when they got to this, instead of some of them are double this size and they've gone to splitting in the rain. But we'll show you that in a second here. But we're going to get the rest of these pulled out.
Well, we're back in the shade and can't really see them all, but that is our kohlrabi harvest. So total, we had 11. And this batch, with a little bit of splitting, but this batch is in pretty good shape. I think this is the only one.
I think this one's the only one we've decided to actually keep. We're going to see it. We might not be able to salvage much, but I think there's some that's salvageable in there.
There's two of them like this. I'll show you in a second. But these ones have all stayed quite good. But I think Stephanie, who was the one who took a look at them and noticed that some were starting to split, had a really good point that because of the rain and just because of the age of these, because kohlrabi are a fairly fast-growing brassica to get the bulb, because of the age of them and because of all the rain, that we were pretty much at that point. It's either harvest them or risk more of them splitting. So we've had 4 that were split. So this one's weird because it split early and healed. We may actually see what we can get off that. It may be more edible than it looks. So we'll see. We're not sure about that one. But this one here is probably the worst one of the bunch. You can see it's split and it's basically rotted down inside. I don't think there's much salvageable on this one. But this big one and the one we just showed you earlier, they've split down the middle, but we did break this in half, and we've got quite a bit that's still left here. So,
do you want to show?
Sure.
So you can see
there's a little bit of rot, but it hasn't gotten very far.
It's not like I can push on it. It's not. Basically, what you're seeing there is a whole lot of caterpillar dung
and superficial rotting.
So I think a slice off of that, and it would be perfectly fine to use either half. So
which will still give us quite a bit.
Yep.
So the plan now is to take these in the house, take the leaves off the good ones, and we're not going to process them all today, but we are going to process any of these ones that are sort of not in fantastic shape. And what we're going to do, we might eat some because they're actually quite good fresh, but we'll probably freeze them in kind of like matchstick type sizes to see how that works. Pretty sure that's going to work fairly well. And then we are going to take some of the leaves off if we have any good ones, although they are starting to get cabbage white damage a bit. If we have some good leaves, we might freeze that for us. But the rest of the leaves are going to go to be chicken food, but we're not going to discuss that right now.
As you can see, we've got quite a bit of kohlrabi here, and we're very new to using kohlrabi. So I'm not sure how many pounds this is. We'll write it in on the bottom as we edit this video, because we'll weigh it before we're done. But if you have some favorite ways that you use your kohlrabi, definitely put us a note in the comments, because we would love to try some different recipes. Because like we said, last year we did grow it. I think we got 2 kohlrabi and we let them go to the point that they were quite woody and we didn't know what we were doing exactly. So,
but they still tasted good.
They still tasted good, but I didn't use them to their potential. So I would like to know some ways to use this. Someone suggested you could potentially use it for sauerkraut or coleslaws, things like that, sort of similar to cabbage or broccoli.
Or ice cream.
Or ice cream, which I'm not sure I'm willing to try that one yet, but hey, maybe. So we're gonna get another round of these planted and have some more for fall, but give us some tips on how to use them now.
So before we go inside, I wanted to show this plant, because this is a kohlrabi plant, but it didn't create a bulb. Now this particular one was, I'm not even gonna say it was fully shaded, but it was a little more shaded than the rest. We definitely find the kohlrabi likes the sun. But I think this is just something to keep in mind. They don't always develop the really good bulb on the stem. But at the same time, this one actually has some decent leaves, so we're going to take it in the house anyways and basically process up some of those leaves and freeze them for future use. Well, as we're processing these kohlrabi, you can see some of these have quite a bit of cabbage white damage. We could eat them, but we are going to process some of these more damaged ones and the stems as well into some chicken food. But stay tuned for a future video on exactly what we're doing.
For the chickens.
For the chickens.
Well, we have all of our kohlrabi processed to the point of greens chopped up and usable kohlrabi in the bowl. And we've made a few discoveries, I think. One thing that I would say is we definitely left them too long. Some of them are a bit on the woodier side. I don't know a better way to describe that exactly, but I would say woody. So we're finding parts of it that we're not using just in case. But we still are left, after making something, which I will show you in a moment, we are still left with a bowl full. In total, we had 13.5 pounds of kohlrabi. So that's a pretty good haul for our first time really trying well with this crop. But one thing we've already made with this kohlrabi is coleslaw. And I have to say, it's fantastic. All 4 of us, kids included, loved it. And they don't normally eat coleslaw. So something to be said about that. So I'm thinking in the future, kohlrabi is going to make up a bit bigger part in our garden.
Well, as we kind of end this video, I guess where we're going with this is, in the past we've grown broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage tried to, with varying results, and honestly the kohlrabi seems to be the most versatile. Although it still gets damaged by the cabbage whites, it seems a little less attractive than the cabbage or the broccoli or the cauliflower. And at the end of it, we've got 13 pounds of usable food that we brought into the house. So not too shabby, and we can get a second crop out of this. So as Stephanie said, this is going to hopefully feature as a bigger part of our garden because, well, frankly, everybody seems to like it and it grows well. And even if we do lose a little bit to going woody or splitting, etc., we still get a lot of food from it. So on that note, certainly suggest anybody who hasn't tried kohlrabi eating it or growing it, give it a try, because it's quite a nice crop.